buddy. How you doing? Doing all right? Should be. Loosey-goosey. Although there's a lot going on, so it's a little less loosey and goosey, although we can mingle the two. We can get the two together. It's all right. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. On Twitter, it's at Jay Cameron Show. I want to thank all of you who are listening on 93.3 Real Talk Radio, driving about town. Some of you are working hard, man. Some of you are out there doing some things in the yard, on the roof, in the driveway. Some of you are dropping off packages, delivering in mail, doing the stuff that makes the country go, keep things going, and you're listening to us, and I really, really appreciate it. And some of you are watching. I appreciate that, too. Thank you if you're watching on YouTube TV. There you go, Warchant TV. It's free. Why wouldn't you if you can? Appreciate you. And those of you that are in the Heisen Legal Law Firm chat, here you go. It is our chat sponsor, Heisen Legal Law Firm, dedicated to representing injured clients statewide. That number, 813-803-0733, free consultation. No cost to you unless they win. Your interests come first with Heisen Legal Law Firm, the name you can trust for justice. Call 813-803-0733 right now or visit HeisenLegalLawFirm.com. Heisen Legal Law Firm, your advocate in times of need. Offices, Tampa, and away we go. How are you, Tom? You doing okay, buddy?
Yeah, man, that hit me right. I don't know, though. Your enthusiasm for the day, I match it. I echo it. And I do think there is a time, perhaps soon, where the Lucy and the Goosey can come back on a more regular basis. That's a teaser out there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I would say this, too, by the way. I love today's practice. I can give you that. I was at today's practice, of course, and I liked it because it marked a change with Mike Norvell. And Mike, the first 2 days, I think understanding guys, newer players were getting acclimated. And, of course, they're not, they weren't in pads or anything like that. So he was very much about sort of the operation. How did it look? Could you operate quickly? What was your basis? What was your knowledge? What did you have that you could bring to the table if we were doing things quickly? But today it was ratcheted up. Today felt very much like a guy who understands that we are now less than 30 days away from the first game. We are 29 days away from the first game. How cool is that? That's it. That's not a lot. Yeah, it's not a lot at all. It is fun to say. And, the thing of that is that, when you begin to turn the corner, and today they were in shells, they had shoulder pads, helmets, they were ready to get at it. You realize, it's not a lot of time. We gotta be right. We gotta get right now. And he operated under that umbrella today. He was back to the black hat, black shirt, black pants, Mike Norvell. And he quite literally was, Tom. And I wondered when I saw it, was there going to be a change in the way that he responded to mistakes? Would there be a different tone in his voice during instructional periods? And would he hold, I don't know, certain veterans accountable a little bit more sternly than he did the first 2 days? How would he ride the younger players who he thinks has a chance to contribute? And there were really kind of telltale signs everywhere. I won't get into all of that because some of it is inappropriate. But some guys that I think, here's a broad assessment of what I'm seeing out there today. And that is, if you're one of these players, and I'm not just talking about the starting 11 or projected starting 11 on offense, projected starting 11 on defense, although some of those positions are still being fought for. It really is about, I would say, the two deep on both sides. That's how far back it goes. To where all of a sudden, any little thing that's not right is being picked up on, discussed. Discussed is a nice way of me describing what I saw. There's no time for worrying about your feelings. There's a whole lot of, we need to get this right an hour ago. Don't do that again. And the sense of urgency was very much palpable as you were out there today. As the first thing I picked up on, you get a general feel at the start of practice how things are going to be. you don't always know how practice is going to go because you can't predict how people are going to perform on a given day. They're just like you and I. They're human beings. They have their good days, their bad days. They're great one day. They're okay the next day. They're great 3 days in a row. They're awful on the fourth day. And you go, I didn't see that coming. Things like that. So you don't ever really know how that's going to go, but you can always get a sense of the coach's expectation for that day and also where his mindset is. And Mike wasn't having it today. And I knew early on, a couple players got called out on this. And I thought, well, it's 9:07. And we've started in on the F-bombs and some things. And I thought, okay, all right, better button up, boys. Better buckle it up today, which I like seeing. I like watching because I like to see you can actually learn something. How do people respond? How do players maybe who are new to the program that have never really actually been coached hard? Remember this, and you know this, Tom, but remember, for a lot of these guys, they come in here and they were the best player on their high school team. Now, remember, if you're the best player, the most accomplished player, the most athletic player on your high school team, chances are you probably were a really good athlete in middle school too. Like, this didn't happen overnight. Sometimes it does, but most of the time these were guys that were trending in the direction of being elite prospects in the world of college sports, college football in this case. Well, what does that mean? Well, what that means is somewhere along the way they figured out in 7th and 8th and 9th grade that they were a guy. They weren't just a jag. They weren't just another guy. They were the guy. And when you're the guy, you take a rep off here or there, a coach doesn't lose his mind because you're you. You can do that. I'm pretty much going to need you to win me the game on Friday. So, okay, it's Tuesday. Johnny didn't really run that route the way I would have liked. It's going to be all right. He's the best player on the field every Friday. I'm not going to lose my mind. So it can be abrasive. It can be a new experience to a young player on offense or defense that comes in, and maybe they're so talented that they are going to get some run, or that the expectation is that they could get some run, that they may get significant playing time, that they may have an opportunity at the very least to impact this team right here, right now. The reaction to those wasted reps or movements is very different. Now it's hard coaching. I got nothing but the best athletes at their local high school out on this field today. I don't care if you're not going to do it right. I'll send your ass packing. So it becomes a different sort of deal, and to watch them have to respond to those moments, some of them uncomfortably intense, when the head coach screams you down in front of everybody and then carries it over to your next rep or all the way back in line. How do you handle it? And it doesn't really change in terms of learning something for me with the veteran players, in that I want to see how they respond. Some of them, it takes 3 years to even be able to handle it, where they don't respond emotionally, where they fire back as opposed to listening to what was said, what was being criticized. Hey, man, we're all grown-ups out here. Football's an intense sport. Nobody cares. Nobody who has a backbone, nobody who's not soft cares about language. You're not all that concerned about curse words, their words. What's he saying? What's the intense response is for what reason? And it's fun to watch guys when the light bulb goes off. Hey, he may have said MF this, GD this, I'm very upset about this, da-da-da-da-da-da. But what was the substance of what he was saying? What was it I was doing wrong? I need to fix it. Clearly, he's done with this. Some guys, because everybody's background is different, some guys do not handle that first day where they encounter that very well. And sometimes, fast forward, they're a year or two into their careers and they still don't handle it well. And then one day they kind of smile and they get it and they do it right on the next play. And there's a moment that you catch as they're jogging back into their segment group, and Mike walks by and slaps him on the ass, and they look over and laugh at him, knowing that there it was. I get it now. And it's important because some of those players are guys that you think to yourself as you're watching, they need him. He's a good player, but man, he's still too emotional, cannot handle this, doesn't respond well to this kind of adversity, has his emotions played too often. I think the guy that we've seen, Tom, feel free to comment on this, but I think the guy that we've seen grow up fast here in the last, well, I say grow up fast, we've seen a transition and a pretty extreme transition from two guys in particular. One of them is old batted balls Peyton. Old batted balls is a seasoned veteran out here now. I mean, he knows exactly when you have to turn it on and you got to dominate this rep and you got to make this play and you got to set this example. And he knows exactly what's expected of him. And he also knows the right time where maybe this isn't as intense of a moment. But it takes some getting used to. It takes a while. And then others, you're still waiting. You're still waiting. And you wonder, are they going to get it? Will the light bulb go off? But he's done it and Farmer's done it.
Yeah, old batted balls versus angry Mike Norvell. They've had chapters in practice. They've had chapters of back and forths. And they're tremendous. They're tremendous viewing. And it was uncomfortable a couple of times. Mm-hmm. I think it's okay to talk about that now that we're on the other side. And that Patrick Payton will tweet out in the offseason that you changed my life, or you changed my world forever. Whatever he said to Mike Norvell, tagging Coach Norvell. And it's true. It's true. I was worried about that particular player last year for post whistle penalties, unsportsmanlike conduct, losing your cool moments. He never did. And he's such a smart football player too. It was an interesting mix last year leading up to it and the camp before that of emotion plus smarts. Like, he was just very, very high level at both. But you're right. He's turned the corner. Farmer has turned the corner. My God, he gets wider every day. I swear. There's a photo we have. I should probably pull it up, and I will maybe during the break that Gene Williams took. I think it was today or yesterday, of he and Darrell Jackson walking side by side into practice. Josh is wider than Darrell Jackson. I can't believe it, because Darrell is a giant human being. But the two of them walking in there, Darrell is taller and Josh is more stout. But I mean, they're two behemoths. And Darrell gets it now too. His interview today was spectacular. You can tell in command, mm-hmm. Understanding the task in front of him. And to your point, as you're talking about Coach Norvell walking up to that line, I almost said crossing. He doesn't, but walking up to that line, he's like a mix of Gruden and Jimbo. And I don't know how exactly to assign the percentages, because sometimes he's funny, like Gruden used to be on NFL films. And then sometimes it's uncomfortable, which is where Jimbo would go. And I love angry Mike Norvell. Angry Mike Norvell is outstanding to watch because he is wound tighter than a drum. But then when he gets to the media, he might be perturbed with a day, but you can tell it was a mode he went into. The interview after practice is another mode he goes into. And then when he walks off the field, generally speaking, he's just loud Mike Norvell, which is standard 1.0 Mike Norvell. But every day it's consistent that way. And I'm glad to hear that once acclimation was over, he said angry Mike Norvell activated. Fantastic.
Well, time is of the essence, since we're talking about Gruden. Time is of the essence, and he's not wrong about that. And the other thing to note here, my observation of where I think this is headed, they have a lot of answers. It's really cool to be at a camp where they have a lot of answers. If you want to try to throw the ball against this team, I think they have a lot of answers for that. That front four is one answer. The depth of talent, speed, length, and size in the secondary is another answer. I think offensively, they are going to come hell or high water, try to establish this run game. They're creating a mentality. Their answer for some of the problems they had last year on offense is that we have to be able to run the ball, and we have to create big plays down the field off of that. So they brought in speed. They've got size, and they've got a running back room that features talent and diversity for days. So they've got answers there, and a big armed quarterback that can get the ball down the field is another answer for what they couldn't do a year ago. They did a lot of things right. A lot of things right, clearly, went 13-0. But, no team is perfect, and you're always striving to fix whatever it is that ails you. So they went out and found some answers. They need more answers. I think every coach in America right now would say that about their team at practice. We need more answers for this, more answers for that. You have to make and take account of the fact that it's a violent game and people get hurt. And what happens if one of those answers is not available? Well, who's going to fill that role? So they're always pushing and pressing and trying to get more and better and deeper and have more answers for all the questions that you could face over the course of a very physical and tough season. And I like watching that. But the areas where there are options, there are potential answers, are the areas where you're going to see Mike really, I think, ride segment groups. I'm talking about the way he's confronting, very specifically, the wide receivers makes sense because of what you lost. You had two receivers a year ago who accounted for over 1,200 yards. Those two guys are gone. Now, they had more than that in total, but two guys accounted for over 1,200 yards. So when that leaves you, all that experience and all that productivity, and then you turn and say, okay, we had some guys that have been here, but they haven't had anywhere close to that kind of production. And now I need them to have that kind of production. And I need some more candidates to be front and center for me. I mean, we may all think that Benson is going to have a great year. Fine. He didn't even have 13 catches a year ago. A lot of reasons for that. The point would be, like, you're happy you have him, but he hasn't had to be the guy, and he's going to need to be the guy, along with some others that have to fill these roles. So when you watch Mike now, you see a guy is not taking anything for granted with that group. And if you're a receiver right now, man, you've got to be able to buck up and handle hard coaching. You're going to hear some things that are tough to hear and not respond to, verbally. And you're going to, and I'm hearing it a lot. It echoed today throughout the practice fields. It was great.
So he's going to have a nickname. Is it Mad Mike Norvell? That seems cliche. Is it Angry Mike Norvell? I mean, maybe you can coin something that's a little bit better. But I like that because I think it's easier for people to smile about if you can report, next Wednesday. Well,
yeah, we got Angry Mike today. Yeah.
Angry Mike Norvell was a 10 out of 10 today.
Yeah, well, there's analytical Mike, too. There is the time where he pulls people aside and he's very much breaking down for them what it is that he's asking them. And he takes turns based on the evidence, right? And that's important. In the limited coaching that I've ever done, everybody's personality is different. You have to get to know that. And you also got to get to know whether or not what you're doing is resonating. Is it effective? If a guy closes down for whatever reason, just shuts down with the approach that you're taking, well, ultimately, as he said to me in Charlotte, you meet the player where they're at. So you have to figure out in that moment, I think this guy can play. I think this guy can help us. But this way of trying to get across to him the importance of doing this, and this isn't working because he's not hearing the message because he's shutting down. I got to try a different way with him. Another guy, you may have tried that other way and it's not getting across, and now it's time to be the devil. Now it's time to get in his face and say some crazy things because you got to shock him out of his shell and get him to listen and hear you. Everybody's different. So you've seen that with him, and that's what good coaches do. They kind of figure it out. You don't have to be a radically different human being, but you do have to be somebody who is at least paying attention to whether or not you're connecting.
Norvell the devil, Mike the Devil Norvell. I don't know. Devil I like. I know you. Anytime you could work that into something,
I tried.
It always works. Here's the photo for the people on Warchant TV of Farmer and Jackson next to each other. My God.
Horses. Look at those two dudes. That's a problem. That's a problem when you're a young offensive lineman. You're going out there like, man, I don't know. I don't know if today's going to go the way I had hoped it would.
These are two adults. Why am I standing across from adults? I just got out of prom.
Well, and the thing of it is, I want to make it clear. It's so fun to watch that switch and to watch, what he's saying is instructive. It's not yelling to yell. It's not it's not mean to be mean. It's like, I need you to understand that we don't have, there is no tomorrow from Rocky, right? It's sort of here's the deal, buddy. You've got to be better now. And this should not surprise anybody. If he's yelling at, Portier or Williamson or any of the veteran receivers, Span, what's that telling you? He's saying, man, now it's now or never. Like, you've been in the damn program forever. I'm going to need you to stop with the nonsense. Like, we got to go.
I've known you for 3 years, and in that time, I have not seen you break off one route properly when I call for you to do this. It could be like Mike's Hard Haterade, maybe? No? Okay.
I don't know. It can't be flippant because it's too important. It's too, I want it to be an apt descriptor. I understand we're not, splitting the atom here, but I do want it to be an apt descriptor of a man who's intensely trying to ensure that this season is as successful as last year's, whatever those expectations are, and he has them. I don't know, every coach will tell you, sure, they want to win every game, but they're also realist and pragmatic most of the time too. So I'm kind of curious, but it was fun today. There was a lot of good out there today, some bad, that's every day. But there was intense Mike Norvell today, and some of those interactions where we all just kind of look over around at each other like, whew, that's a tough one. That's a toughie to have to hear that one after a rep. To have to jog back to the group after that one is just tough to do, but it was fun. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Whidden Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. When you call Whidden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Whidden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Whidden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. Whidden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
Not only does Swain Pools and Spas sell the best selection of hot tubs and spas in the city, but Swain also builds, services, renovates, restores in-ground pools. Is your pool ready for the summer season? Ask about our scheduled maintenance plans to ensure your pool is always clean, balanced, and ready for a swim. Does your pool have a leak, broken heater, or maybe needs some restoration? Is your pool showing its age and needs a facelift? Our renovation crew specializes in applying the latest modern techniques to transform your old pool into the oasis you always wanted. Swain Pools and Spas is Tallahassee's premier pool everything store. Call us today and we can answer all your questions. 850-386-7113. That's 386-7113. Or contact us online at swainpools.com.
And right next to Swain Pools and Spas is Tallahassee Car Care, the only repair shop where you can take a dip while we repair your whip.
Cannonball! Summer festival season is going on now at Chawan Korean Steakhouse, and that means prizes and giveaways every single day for guest dining between 6 and 7 p.m. Bring all your friends and family, and every dinner purchase between 6 to 7 p.m. is an entry to win exclusive giveaways like 55 and 65-inch TVs, iPads, earbuds, and gift cards. Winners are picked at 7 p.m. every single day while supplies last. Don't miss out. It's the Summer Festival at Chawan Korean Steakhouse, Tallahassee's most unique and interactive dining experience.
When you need a plumber quick, how long is an acceptable time to have to wait?
Yeah, hey, it's the Millers again. Just calling you about our little plumbing problem.
2 hours?
Hey, we were hoping you can get here soon because the water is getting really bad. I mean, please hurry.
4 hours?
I know you said you were on your way, but, honey, tell the kids to tread water.
8 hours?
Don't worry about us.
At M&L Plumbing, you'll never have to wait long for quality, dependable service right when you need it. At M&L Plumbing, we listen to our customers, and our qualified technicians aim to achieve 100% customer satisfaction. So the next time you need plumbing work or repairs, think of the name M&L Plumbing, your local plumbing experts, commercial or residential. Give us a call, 850-575-9393, or visit us online at mnlplumbing.com. M&L Plumbing, for all of your plumbing needs.
Don't miss TSC Tuesdays every Tuesday morning at 7:30 a.m. during the Greg Tish Show. Find out what's happening at Tallahassee State College every Tuesday at 7:30 a.m. on Real Talk 93.3 FM.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
You know, Tom, the tight end room's kind of coming together. I think they've got options there. I feel pretty good about what I saw today without getting into specifics. I will tell you this, and this has been true over the course of this week. I think Morlock's on a mission to go get his money. I think he's on a mission to go get his money. He's come in incredible shape, and he's made a ton of contested catches, just a ton of contested catches. And, you know, it's not surprising to me, and I can say this because I think that it kind of speaks to the point I was making last segment. Mike knows there are guys that have to make plays for this team to get where they want to go, right? And so I talk about he's not going easy on guys that he has high expectations for. He's not going easy on anybody. But if you're part of that too deep that he thinks are going to be a big part of why we win games this year, he's watching very closely and demanding more of you. That stands to reason. I mean, if you're a fourth stringer who's not going to play, he's not riding your every rep, but he is making sure that the guys that are going to have to make plays for you are doing it the right way every day, all day. And it's fascinating. And I'll go back to the first practice without giving up what the route was or what happened or even who threw it. Kyle had a ball that probably should have been caught. It wasn't an easy catch. I mean, it wasn't like right here in your hands. It was a tough play, but it's kind of play a big-time player, certainly an NFL player, makes, right? And he didn't make it. And at the time, I thought Mike, just, observationally, anecdotally, I'm watching this, and I'm like, that seems like a bit of an overreaction for day one. That seems a bit over the top for a tough catch that's just off the fingertips on day one. But he was on him immediately. And he was, in essence, and I'm paraphrasing, saying, good football players make that catch. That's basically what he was telling him. Like, hey, man, those are the kind of plays that difference makers, they make those catches. And he's on him. And I thought, okay, well, that's interesting. Mike, we know Kyle's going to be a starter, so okay. And then he was still intense with him throughout the rest of that day, the rest of yesterday, and then today. But over the course of the last 2 days, that message has resonated surely. I mean, Morlock is making incredible catches on the regular. Like, you go to practice, you're going to see one. That's just simple as that. You go to practice, you're going to see that kid make a great – other players are making plays too. I'm just saying, you go to practice, that kid is going to make a really difficult catch. You know who else makes – every really difficult catch? Morlock and Toafili. Catch of the year. I wish everybody could have seen it. I had to dodge getting trucked by all of the people involved in the catch because it was on the sideline I was at. I couldn't believe he caught it. I don't even know. I still don't know how he caught it. I want to go back and watch it. It's an insane catch. And he gets up and he's smiling ear to ear, and we all know how that infectious smile that Warchant Toafili has, how it affects you when he puts that gaze on you. He got up and smiled at the four of us that were standing there. Like, you saw that catch. You know what I just did. But it was an incredible catch. And there have been a few of those every day, and it's cool. I'm not surprised that the veteran players and the talented players that they're going to be relying on are making plays. I'm just pointing out a couple guys are going to make a great catch every day. Toafili's one of them, and right now Morlock is one of them. Man, he's used that size properly, and he's getting it. He's catching it all over the field. It's been fun to watch.
You can see the work that Morlock has put in. He interviewed yesterday after practice, and that's available on Warchant TV. You know, you can't really tell maybe in photos as much, but you were speaking to on day one observations of who hit the gym hard, who got to work with Josh Storms, who took to heart what was coming next for them in their development. And Kyle Morlock is one of those names you mentioned because I believe on Wednesday you said, I wouldn't be surprised if he's at least an adequate blocker now because of the size that he's added. You can see that. You can see that.
He's big, dude. He is big.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that dude's a hoss now.
And if he is a little bit more polished in a couple of areas, he does go from a nice second tight end matchup nightmare to no, just a problem. No equivocation, no second tight end. No, he's a problem. And they really do need that, like sorely speaking, because in the red zone, and if I tell you line up your 4 best targets and you're going to have a back next to the quarterback, 4 wide.
Yeah, he's one of them for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, he has to be.
Yeah, he has to be.
There is no choice.
Well, you'd be a dumbass not to utilize your 6'7" weapon in the red zone. I mean, what are you going to do with that? He is a horse.
But last year you didn't have to. You know, that was the difference. Like every team is constructed differently. I doubt this team on 1st and goal from the 7 is going to go 4 wide very often. It's not the way it's constructed. Last year's could. If Jaheim Bell was one of those guys who was split out wide, they could certainly go 4 wide. But this group, they're constructed so differently that you're going to have to lean on him. And the more I hear about they're pushing the receivers and maybe the receivers could do this or maybe they're unproven there, the more it feels like the 2 guys you just mentioned, Kyle Morlock and Lawrence Toafili, are going to be really important when you're looking at the receiving stats at the end of the year, targets, catches, and yards. You know, last year was receiver. Maybe this year you mix in a non-receiver, maybe a couple of them in that top 4.
I'm going to answer a couple of questions and also highlight a couple of things here. USA Damage writes, pads popping today. Do running backs get hit or just thumping today? A little bit of both, honestly, once those shoulder pads come on. There are some moments where if you're a defensive player and you're coming up to make a play and it's between the tackles, I mean, look, there's a lot of suddenness from both sides, and so they don't go tackle to the ground like you would in full pads, but there's a pop and you both lose balance, that kind of thing, and maybe you might fall. But it's not a full-on wrapping up engagement in that way. Plenty of guys, though, really trying to make a point. Let's put it that way. Some guys out there are trying to make some points both ways. Think about it this way. You're a running back. You're in a room with 6 dudes. They can all play. What are you going to do? Not run hard and seek to run somebody over when there's an opportunity to make a play or turn ahead? You're going to do that, right? So they're going. It's on. There's no half-stepping. You're a linebacker. This is a rotation that is up in the air. Let's find out who are going to be the dudes. We're not 100% certain yet that everybody is exactly in place where they're going to be when the season starts. So there's some competition there too. And that includes some new guys and some up-and-coming guys and some guys that are trying to hold off those up-and-comers. So what's going to happen? Well, when they come up to make a play, they need to make it abundantly clear that they would have made that play. So there's not going to be any reaching. There's going to be a whole lot of, get you some, and that's what leads to that intensity that I love seeing once these pads come on that we're talking about now. The competition over and over and over again. The point of emphasis in the conversation we're going to have here is the elevated competition. And I think it's true at most places. I think it's true in that secondary because even though you are pretty certain, we're all pretty certain, and I have no reason to believe otherwise as of what I've seen up to this point, we're pretty certain Fintrell Cypress and AZ are going to be your 2 starting corners, as they should be, and they've looked great so far in camp, just so you know. But think about all the reps that others are fighting for. You got a lot of people that can really play, that have high expectations and want to push those 2 for some reps. And at safety, it's the same thing. You got a lot of guys that have real talent, size, length, some experience now. They're getting after each other. And so this is where everywhere you look, there's an intensity that's going to make people better. And I will not be surprised at all, maybe sooner this year than in previous years, Tom, we get some chippiness. Guys get tired of hitting each other, especially when there's that competition that we're talking about. And it's going to be all right if it happens. It happens at every NFL camp. It happens at any big-time program. It's that you get to a place where, there's that extra pushing, and what for? It's a game of toughness and machismo and mentality and all of that, and you get to that point. Hey, really quick before the break, I saw this pop up, and I just think it's really cool. So I wanted to give a mention here. Tom writes, off topic, but so proud of my grandson, Sam Watson, going for Olympic gold medal an event in speed climbing. He's 18 and holds the world record. And then he writes Seminole DNA. How cool is that? This guy's grandson's going for a gold medal in the Olympics. Woo! Let's go. Good luck to you, Tom and Sam. That'd be really effing cool. I can't even imagine. That's you got to be nervous as hell right now.
I think the grandfather could be proud. Sure, he'd be nervous, but he could just be proud at this point. If he holds the world record, I mean, it's just a matter of if he come home with the gold or not. The world record's a world record. My God. The father or mother would be the nervous ones at all times. Granddad can just kick back. He's seen some things. He's been through that extra generation. He could just be proud. I don't care if you come. I don't care if you fall. I'd prefer you didn't. You take home the gold medal.
Yeah, I'd like you to go ahead and take home a gold medal. If you're the world record holder, we might as well just couple that with a gold medal.
Absolutely. I'm not telling you not to do it. I'm just saying that's for your dad to sweat. I'm just here drinking a Coors Banquet beer and watching him being proud of you. That's what I'm doing.
Tasty Coors Banquet beer, I might add. Chef Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
Accelerate your feet through the board. Now that pattern shit. Accelerate. Step two, defense. Get on your feet. Bend your knees and step two of me. Drive. Accelerate through. Strike through. Step. Good, Darius. Accelerate. Middle weight. Get your middle weight on your opposite foot. Strike. Step. You can't be laid off the ball in a drill that goes on the whistle. Right foot into the board. You got to get that step. Short that step. Look at it. Take a knee. You don't have to get enough on the field. You just want that foot, man. You don't have to get to the middle of it. 6-inch step. Here you go, out and right. Tight step right here. Celebrate those feet out.
Bigfoot. I would go look for Bigfoot, but he scares me.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Paul, thank you for the kind words in the Heisen Legal Law Firm chat. Tom just put them up. A lot of you said nice things today. That's awfully cool. I listen to you guys every time you're on. It's a great show. Thank you for your effort and commitment to it. Yeah, it's our pleasure. It's a cool job. I absolutely love it. Brandy, I see you here. I'm about to get to this story. In fact, I wanted to get to this story immediately. This is pretty easy. Like, this is low-hanging fruit. There's nobody going to defend Kirby Smart in Georgia for this. And it's also an easy answer if you're Kirby. Sometimes there are things that happen where a player makes a mistake, screws up, maybe even on the surface, the way it reads, it's awful, but you can find it within the realm of forgiveness and a teaching moment and a chance to change a person's life and get them going in the right direction. Other times it's just so abundantly clear that you have to cut ties immediately with this person. And this is one of those to me. Thomas, Rodarius Thomas, as he's known, Georgia's wide receiver, arrested Friday morning. So this is really Thursday night if you're young. Is when this happens. Multiple family violence charges. Immediately you read that, you go, okay, well, we're already headed down a path where this might be an easy one to make a decision on. But here you go. Here's the story. He was charged with cruelty to children, family violence, a second-degree felony, 2 misdemeanor counts of battery family violence. And he was jailed at 3:20 a.m. without bond. This is a pending legal matter. We'll have no further comment, said the athletic department spokesperson for Georgia, Stephen Drummond. He has to say that. I don't blame him for saying that. It's hollow. But we'll see. Under the Georgia Athletic Association guidelines, he faces immediate suspension after being charged with a felony. This would, if these charges, and I make sure I stress this, if these charges are an accurate depiction of what occurred, he'd be cut immediately if you had a backbone and a sense of decency to you. It's his second arrest on family violence charges since transferring to Georgia from Mississippi State. He was arrested by the University of Georgia police in January of 2023 and accused of felony false imprisonment because he confined and detained a person without legal authority by standing in front of the dorm room door, blocking the exit, telling her she would not be allowed to leave. He was also accused of misdemeanor battery because he allegedly did not intentionally cause visible bodily harm, causing bruising to the right biceps, bruising to the abrasion to her shins is the way it reads. Those criminal charges were eventually dropped by the Athens-Clarke County District Attorney's Office after Thomas successfully completed a pretrial diversion program. Obviously, as for the football, doesn't really matter in a case like this. This is more important than football. But for people who are wondering, because it also informs and lends context to whatever decision is made, he was going to be a big part, integral part, if you will, of Georgia's passing game this season. My guess here, and it is just a guess, I don't know what Kirby will do or what Georgia will do. I don't think this young man will play football for Georgia this year. I don't know how you turn your head to something as disgusting as violence in the family towards children or anybody else. So this is a no-brainer. This is, again, low-hanging fruit. Guys getting fights at bars, got a decision to make. Guys get in trouble speeding on a daily basis, they've made their decision at Georgia. They don't care. Guys, get popped for some weed, got to figure some things out, whatever it might be. There's nuance to all of this. I've said before, in Coach Cameron's world, there are misdemeanors that I'd kick you off my team for and felonies that I would let you stick around and get a second chance. That's why it's a case-by-case basis for Coach Cameron, depending on what it is. But there are things that I would put up with and things I never would. Anything that might reveal a sociopathic trend, that you are a threat to the community and to your teammates and to your family, you got to go. You got to get out of here. You can't be a part of what we're doing here. I hope you get the help you need when you get out of prison. But this is too easy. And if you're Kirby, I don't know how. If you're obviously you have to let it go through its legal court, due course here and figure out if what they're alleging is true. But if so, peace. You got to go. Should be easy.
So on a lighter note, during the break, we were playing on Warchant TV some clips of offensive line work from practice. And there was a bit of instruction that came from one of the OL coaches. My guess is it was Coach Gabe Fertitta, who can now, he can be more involved.
Mm-hmm.
And he already was, but like on the up and up he was. But he said something to the effect of, you can't be laid off the ball on a drill that starts with the blowing of a whistle. He was very, very frustrated that somebody could somehow hesitate.
Yeah.
And your job is to fire off the ball when the whistle blows. And it just reminded me, not as bad, but it reminded me of those days with James Coley and the tight ends where they all in succession chipped linebackers who were edge pressuring when he said, guys, we just release. We don't touch the rusher. We just run right by him.
We just release.
And they kept on chipping the rushers. And so he had to stop the period for the tight ends and call them, everybody in. Everybody in.
Again, guys.
Again. There is a defender in front of you. You will run by him. You will
run past him. We don't need you to touch him. Yeah.
You don't touch him. In fact, you don't touch him at all. And that rusher was a true freshman Christian Jones, who I call about 4 different people in that period of time, but that actually was him that day.
That's funny. Yeah, you have called Christian Jones 47 different people over the years.
I have. Matthew Thomas was Christian Jones for some time. Yeah.
Christian Jones, by the way, as an aside, was a guy that I remember being incredibly frustrated by until they moved positions for him.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember thinking there's nobody that should look like that isn't incredibly productive at some point, and he hadn't been, and they switched positions, and he was an ass kicker.
Well, and they're starting on that side of the ball. You're starting to see more of those type players here. I mean, Christian Jones was one of those that when he showed up, that we knew that the tide was turning. Like Timmy Jernigan was one of those guys, and we've had quite a few defensive linemen early on in Jimbo Fisher's tenure. But when that dude got here as a true freshman, it looked like he was walking out of minicamp for the NFL. You knew that things were flipping. And from what I can tell, too, it sounds like a lot of our brethren at Warchant are pretty impressed, and so is Mike Norvell, with Cam Riley. Now, he's not a true freshman, but at that size, he can move.
Yeah, he can move, and he's working I watched Ernie working with him today, and it's interesting because obviously he's trying to get up to speed with the defensive calls and what his responsibilities are. And then, of course, there's a technique aspect to all of this. And Cam is a guy that shouldn't be able to move like he does at that size. He's so long, 240 pounds, and he can be probably a lot of things for you. And I just wonder how quickly he can learn it. But he's out there a lot now. They're clearly trying to get him acclimated as quickly as possible. And how could you not? You bring in an asset like that, you got to find a way to get him on the field.
One of the things about when you evaluate that I enjoy is you zero in quickly when somebody has to have agility, a.k.a. Matt Millar lateral speed. They got to be able to flip and go, turn and go. How would you assess him? Is he capable? Or are you saying for us he's good, not where we need to be?
Well, I want to watch him in pads. I don't think it's fair of me right now, just yet, to really, because Tom, I'll tell you without giving anything away and getting in trouble. There's a lot of instruction with him right now. He's learning the defense, so you can't play fast if you're trying to figure out what you're doing.
Right.
And so I'm not going to assess a person who's trying to figure out what is being asked of him on day 3 of his time here in Tallahassee. It's like, I don't know. We'll see. But I have a feeling based on how much they're using him and how frequently he's involved in these reps and who he's out on the field with, I have a feeling we'll get that chance. we'll get that chance to assess and really talk about what kind of player he can be. I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic based on what I've seen. Hawaii, no, I heard Mike in the background of the defensive line video yelling violence yesterday. Violence! There is a noticeable difference to the intensity and focus the players are using in practice compared to years ago. He's got, again, a lot of players that are expected to do good things this year, have enough experience in that realm, and ought to be able to produce for you. So he just feels like he can get after them, and he doesn't have to sugarcoat anything. And for a lot of these guys, they're second and third or fourth year guys. Let's go. On that defensive line, obviously, Darrell Jackson and Josh Farmer, if you're not doing it right, he's going to come down on you hard, because there's no excuse for that. But those guys have played with great vigor and leadership. They're not showing signs of taking plays off. Either is Patrick Payton. So, we're not – it'll be interesting. I think the thing to look for with those players is the newcomers, the guys that came in, whether that's Grady Kelly, Lilahea, any of those guys, Durja, all the guys that they can move to different ways and different places. Yeah, I want to see what they do with those guys, because that's the second line. The second and third guys getting reps are going to be really pivotal. I think we know what we're going to get out of the first line. Hour number 2, forthcoming. Stay with.
Attention, Florida. Are you a victim of an auto accident? We introduce our live chat sponsor, Hyson Leka Law Firm, dedicated to representing injured clients statewide. If you've been in an accident, call Hyson Leka Law Firm at 813-803-0733 for a free consultation. Remember, there's no cost to you unless they win. Your interests come first with Hyson Leka Law Firm, the name you can trust for justice. Call 813-803-0733 now or visit HysonLekaLawFirm.com. Hyson Leka Law Firm, your advocate in times of need.
New one. So why wait? Visit Pinch A Penny's 12,000 square foot showroom today on Greer Road and discover how effortless and affordable owning a fantastic hot tub can be. Find out more at TallahasseeHotSpring.com. That's TallahasseeHotSpring.com.
Rick Stockstill, former Knoll, former Middle Tennessee State head football coach. Dustin Hill. Bunch of QBs. Q's on 3, Q's on me. 1, 2, 3.
Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future. Science-backed, technology tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Real Talk Radio, as well as watching on Warchant TV, YouTube. Good, in fact, to have all of you on board. And another reminder, football is upon us. We're under 30 days until the game. Under 30 days until the game. And, man, that's exciting to think about, reaching the 20s, knowing knowing that real football is going to be played in soon. Tom, can you believe how close we all are to being in Ireland, buddy? Just like that. You're really close.
It's a little scary. Yeah. Why are we echoing? Do you hear that echo?
No, I don't hear any echo.
Uh-oh.
Oh, Tom's broken. He's going to have to fix his stuff over there. Get it together, Tommy. You're not echoing over here. Not on these airwaves. Not with this guy controlling the ones and twos. We're rolling on, Big River.
Let's see if any comments. It's directly. There we go. It's gone now. And it's gone. So we're back. Yes, I am nervous because 3 weeks from today, I'll be there. Man, you got to really be smart about how you fill up the suitcase if you're going to be somewhere for 10 days, especially if you're not in your home country. It's not that Ireland doesn't have some creature comforts. Like if I needed to go to a laundromat, I could. If I needed to buy some extra clothes or knickknacks, I could.
Yes.
But still, when you leave your home country for more than a week, you got to do things the right way. And I want to keep it carry-on outside of the golf bag. It's a nonstop flight, so it's not that big of a deal with a layover. But I'd like to not have to have humongous luggage to drag around the island.
No, you don't need to. I mean, it's all carry-on. I was there for a week last time and just carry on. Good to go. Get you a pair of jeans that you adore that you can wear every day because jeans are jeans. Everybody gets it. In fact, jeans are best not washed unless you spill stuff all over them. It's just wear your jeans. They're built to be like that. And then maybe one other pair of pants. Then you got like 4 or 5 shirts. You're good to go. We're all set. Underwear and socks, baby. That's it. You're all good. And what hat do you want to wear? On your computer bag, you can throw your hats in there, something like that. You'll be good to go. I've got it down to a science these days. The real key is how many movies do you need to download and all that other stuff to make sure you're good to go. Do you have the book that you're going to listen to on tape? Do you have the book you're actually reading? Do you have the music that you want ready to go for your earbuds? Are you all set? That's all that stuff, your creature comforts, your distraction from the fact that you're having to sit on a plane for 6 effing hours. That's the whole thing. Is everything in place to distract me from this part that I don't like?
Well, I just reflected on it and I'm screwed. I have to check the bag anyway because I got the equipment, so it's all right. Never mind. We've resolved the issue. That means that I'll have
Could you send it over sooner? Can you send it out ahead?
Man, shipping costs. No, thank you.
Just charge it to Gene. Just charge it to Warchant.
I slightly doubt, and by slightly I mean highly doubt, that that's going to get expensed. Thank you very much. No, you can bring it on the plane is what you can do. That's what I'll be told.
Okay. All right. Well, that said, I'm eager to get back. The fine folks of Ireland are always welcoming and kind. It is a lovely, lovely place to meander about the town, to go to each of the counties that you're going to go to. I have never not had a great day in Ireland, and I've been there more than most. I was there for 10 days on my honeymoon 19 years ago. I was there last year around this time for a week, and I'll be going back again this year. This will be my 3rd time. I think me and Ireland are simpatico. Been to Scotland twice. There you go.
Just in case you're looking for some fun viewing, on Saturday at 10:30 a.m. is the final of the Gaelic Football League.
Yeah.
It's their Super Bowl.
You going to be watching it at Rogers? Where are you going?
I probably will. Last week they had the final for the hurling, and it was very crowded. It was Clare versus Cork, and Clare won.
I've been to County Cork and County Clare.
So yeah, apparently those two teams never make it to the final, so it was a real underdogs final, and it was packed. But the bar maiden said, "Well, next week's going to be nuts because most people care for the football, some people care for the hurling." So fair enough.
Curtis, to answer your question, I'll go over 3 hats. Variety is the spice of life. You got to have a lot of options in your hat game when you're a bald man. Now, I will tell you, I don't need to have as many options in Ireland as I do, say, anywhere in the South in the United States. I mean, the sun could kill me if I didn't have a hat here. Whereas over in Ireland, you get a lot of overcast days. I know your skin still gets hit by the sun, but it's also not 100, all these different things. But yeah, the hats are the way that Corey and myself survive over at football practices. You can't be out there because we're down on the field for a lot of the practice, especially at the start. And that sun is something. It'll tell you, I'm here. I'm right here for you, Jeff. Just right on the dome.
It's true. I missed a spot when I was golfing last week on my arm. And in Florida, that would mean you could hear my arm for days while it was healing. You'd hear it would be, sizzling. And up here, it's merely just a faded burn. It's amazing how it changes when you get down near them tropics. And that's why I usually go through gallons and gallons of SPF 50.
So we were talking yesterday on Seminole Headlines, and it got all cattywampus this week because Tuesday we did JCS when I came back from Charlotte. The fellas were still in Charlotte. They came back a day later. Ira went down to Miami for Orioles and Marlins. Felt bad for him a little bit. Like, what are the chances the Orioles go down there and get their head kicked in by the sorry-ass Marlins? But they did twice. And so he didn't get to see them at their best. But anyhow, he comes back. We do headlines yesterday. And I was talking about the way Mike Norvell is currently viewed, the way we see Mike Norvell. And it was kind of fun because you can state a few things emphatically, right? We know that Mike Norvell is a very good coach. We know for certain that Mike Norvell fits in the category, and I won't get too specific because he's got a lot more to accomplish, but as a top 10 coach? He's a top 10 coach. If you were to poll college football knowledgeable, not fly-by-night, willy-nilly, cursory glance on a Saturday football fan, I'm talking about serious college football fans, who amongst that group that's capable of being honest and objective would not rank Mike as a top 10? Okay, if you want top 15 coach, right? All of them, right, would say, yes, that's true. How could you not?
Look, if Alabama comes calling to replace Nick Saban and you're one of the phone calls, you're probably top 5. Now, you could argue top 10 because maybe there are 5 dudes who are spoken for and they wouldn't leave their current institution. But it's Alabama calling, not Auburn.
Right. That's my point. I was just I was giving it a wide berth. I'm not telling you my ranking. I have them in the top 10 for sure. But I'm saying I'm talking about a collection of college football fans everywhere. I'm just trying to be as objective and wide, berth as possible here. I'd say he's a top 10, top 15 coach. Okay. So once you establish yourself as that, there's no longer the lingering questions. Did they get the right guy? It's nice to get out from under that. It's nice to be out, to not have to wonder anymore. No, we got the right guy. Now, there's a finite window, right, for most of these guys, especially with the intensity of the job these days. There are so few in the world of college football, if you look around, so few Nick Sabans. I mean, we know this. See Jimbo Fisher. I mean, the man has gone through 2 full jobs already in his career and is out of football. I mean, it's just like that. And that's a guy who won a national championship. So that's how quick it can turn, okay? So few guys that can sustain a level of excellence for a prolonged period of time to which they are no longer approached about the idea of maybe their time has passed and it's maybe the school needs to look around. Look at a guy like James Franklin. Let that guy fool around and lose to every good team he faces again this year. He's winning games at Penn State. They just never win the games. They never win the games that they need to win. Like, they don't beat Michigan and they don't beat Ohio State. They'll beat everybody else in the sorry-ass Big Ten. They don't beat anybody else. And then at some point, all those people there in the sticks are like, hey, we're out here in the sticks. The only thing we have is trying to win these games, and you're killing us. You're killing us.
Bring back Joe Pa's statue, please. Why do we take his statue down? I mean, come on.
But they've got, if that continues, they're going to say, well, we're going to have to move on. James, this is not getting it done. You never beat anybody who's any good. You're going to have to go. And you look around the other programs around the country, I think it's this is an intriguing year for a lot of coaches. I guess where I'm headed with all of this is you get viewed through a different prism once it's known that you are a successful coach, an asset to a program, a guy who's worthy of high expectations annually. Georgia will have, for as long as Kirby Smart's there, Georgia fans will expect that their players are arrested weekly for speeding and running people over, and nothing will be done about it, and also winning a whole lot of football games. They have those two things that they can count on. Traffic laws don't apply to our players. It's dangerous to live here in Athens, but we win a lot. Yep, there you go. Those two things. That's fair. Fair enough for Kirby. All right. I guess folks at Alabama right now are going to assume that DeBoer, who is a good coach and did great things at Washington, I guess that expectation certainly is very, very high for him. But if by year 3 he has a few 9-3, 8-4 type campaigns, they're going to be ready to move on. They're going to say, okay, well, this ain't it. This guy has taken our once proud program and ruined it, is what they're going to say.
Don't judge his successor. I know that guy was well thought of, and I forget his name right now, but at Washington. So during the Big Ten Media Days, you see a lot of these things come out, these quotes. They've got 21 new starters at Washington and 50 plus new players. So DeBoer got out at the right time as well. Timing is very nice for reputation, marrying up, he did all of those things. So yeah, that's don't judge Washington and say, well, when DeBoer left, they fell to pieces. Hang on a minute. I think if Kalen had 21 new starters and 50 new players on the roster, there might be some problems.
What's funny about that too is Michigan is got massive turnover this year, and they elevated from within. And that poor guy, I mean, you're coming off an invitational win, and now you've got a chance to lose 4 games easily. And he's going to be seen as the reason for that. I would argue they would have lost those games if Harbaugh were there this year. But Harbaugh was like, time to take it on down the road, boys. Now's the time. It's the right time. It's the right time. You've got to know. You got to get with the getting. Time to go, boys. You think about it. Mark Stoops at Kentucky. When did I tell you? It was 4 years ago. I was like, dude, what is he doing? Why do you keep taking these extensions? Sir, you're like an actor who's a serious artist and wants to do complicated films and profiles of really nuanced people stuck in a stupid sitcom. By about year 3, you got to go. You can't be there just telling the same 5 jokes over and over again. Nobody's going to take you seriously. You got to ride. You're George Clooney in ER. It's time to go pursue the film career. ER's paying really well. But you have serious films to make, like Good Night and Good Luck. It's time to go. So here we go. Mark should have rode the F out of Kentucky years ago if he wanted to get a real job. Now you're stuck in Kentucky.
Yeah, that's funny with George Clooney, because it's like, you're not Dermot Mulroney. You're actually good.
Yeah, you can good. Go. Yeah. So it's fun. So then, all right, anyhow, I say all of that to say this. We know Mike's the top-tier coach. Mike just led us to an undefeated 13-0 season. Mike has got us back atop the conference as champions. But now the weight of those expectations change. That's what the money's for. And we get into these conversations about success and sustainability and what's fair to lay at the feet of the coach, what's also fair to note when assessing, because we're stuck in the ACC and we don't have the dollars that other programs have that he's seeking to play alongside and vanquish, meaning those that are in the SEC footprint and really nationally anybody who competes for a title. So we get into that, and I just think this is a year of change. And I don't say that with an ominous tone. I just think it's a year of change in that once you've established yourself as this thing, like the last few years, it's been a question of how soon could Florida State get back to the top of the mountain or be in the conversation. We used to jokingly and have fun with this, call it, the exclusive neighborhood, right? How quickly could we be in the gated community that Jim Phillips referred to? How quickly could it be that we were invited to those parties again, as we made the analogy, right? And we have a seat at the table now. We're there. Those picnics there at the community center in the rich neighborhood, we walk in and nobody bats an eyelash. We belong there. We're there. It's absolutely, that's not new money. We're back where we need to be. We had a little drug problem for a few years, cleaned up and came on back, got it together. So if you don't If you don't meet high expectations, the conversation changes. It gets to be, well, that certainly was disappointing. We can't throw the baby out with the bathwater just yet, but that was not what I was hoping for. That's how things begin to, it just changes. It is fascinating.
It can be something like, well, in 22, if you're talking about Mike, in 22, you didn't beat anybody who was as good or better than you. And, you know, in 2023, you brought in some excellent transfers and they helped you fortify that defense. But I mean, you were playing an ACC schedule, you know, and so I'm still not sold. Now, there are many of you who just said, what the hell is he talking about in the chat? No, that's me playing the character, because that's how it would go this year if they say went 8-4.
Right.
Something like that. Yeah. That's exactly how Mike Norvell would be discussed.
Yeah, and there would be a pushback to that last one that you described, because, I mean, good Lord, swept their SEC foes in that year of the ACC schedule you're talking about.
Oh, well, you know, listen, the LSU had a
Heisman Trophy winning quarterback.
Oh, they had a defense, one of the worst defenses. They might as well have been playing in the Big 12. That doesn't count. I mean, think about it. Obviously, it didn't count, because otherwise they would have gotten credit for it and invited into the Invitational. Right. So it doesn't matter at all.
It wasn't as big a win as Alabama's last-second upset of Auburn.
Have you played on the road at Auburn? I mean, my God, doesn't matter if they got 2 wins or 10.
Tough. Doesn't matter. Could be a 2-win Auburn team. It's nearly impossible to win there.
It doesn't matter. That's correct. I think we should stop it there. Really, honestly, guys, it does not matter, because if you win there, it matters, because it doesn't matter.
You need the kind of underwear that's going to protect the boys when it's hot outside. They got to be comfortable, secure, safe from the dangers of chafing and heat. That's why you go to manscaped.com today and get 20% off, free shipping to boot with the code WARCHANT at manscaped.com. 20% off, free shipping at manscaped.com. Use the code WARCHANT. You want the crop soother, preserver to go with the boxers and the weekend whacker? Hey, now. And the lawnmower. And the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. You got crazy hairs? Take care of them. I find them on my ears. Started in my mid-40s. Hairs. Not on my head where I'd like them to be, but in my ears, just growing out, trying to see the sun, trying to get some sunlight. And I whack them with the Lawnmower. I lay waste to them. You should too. Don't be out there looking all gangly. Warchant is the code. 20% off, free shipping with that code, Warchant, at manscaped.com. It's Jeff Cameron Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Power Mill Training Academy equips motivated athletes focused on baseball and softball with the specific tools to reach their true potential. Now, you'll read that if you go to their website, but I'm here to tell you that, look, whether it's your daughter wanting to play softball, your son wants to play baseball, or maybe they just want to have fun and get the most out of their abilities, and that's where Power Mill comes into play. They've got coaches and camps that teach for every level of play for your son or your daughter. To learn more, go to PowerMillSports.com. Hey, this is for my homeowner friends out there. You know who you are. When you get your grass cut, you're going to inspect the work, make sure it's good. Get your house painted, check around every corner and edge, make sure that's done right. Get a new roof, going to get eyes on those shimmering new shingles. Get your septic tank cleaned. Bet you're not popping your head down in there to take a look around. You got to trust it's done right. I'll make it easy. Go see my friend Greg Miller, Miller Septic. They're my guys. I trust them, and you can too. MillerSeptic.com. That's it. That's the commercial. That's the whole thing. Check them out. That's MillerSeptic.com. Games for Less, Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used games, as well as new and used consoles like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Atari 2600, PS4, and PS5. You name it. Locally owned and operated since 1994, trade-ins are not only welcome, but Games for Less pays more for your trade-ins than the big chain stores. That's not all. Games for Less now buys and sells new and used vinyl records to boot. George loves the Beatles, by the way. Reserve all the new releases today at Games for Less, conveniently located in the Walmart Supercenter Plaza on Appalachian Parkway.
Are we prepared for severe weather any time of year? In an emergency, do we know what to do? Hello, I'm Brian Cerny, inviting you to join me this Saturday morning at 7 for a special broadcast of Tallahassee Talks, featuring all 5 of our emergency service agency leaders, coming to you from the Tallahassee-Leon County Consolidated Dispatch Agency. We'll hear from CDA Director David Odom, Police Chief Lawrence Revel, EMS Chief Chad Abrams, Deputy Fire Chief Mike Haddon, and Leon County Sheriff Walt McNeil. Tough questions and straight answers you need to hear in conversation with the people charged with keeping us safe. A special broadcast of Tallahassee Talks with Brian Cerny. Because staying prepared 365, it's an attitude, not a season. Tallahassee Talks with Brian Cerny, special remote broadcast this Saturday morning at 7 o'clock on Real Talk. Brought to you by Sellers on Capitol Circle Northeast, Tallahassee. Tony Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning, Kent's Property Preservation, and Wood and Glass on South Monroe.
Your friendly neighborhood bar and grill just got a whole lot closer to home. You can now order delicious Smitty's Tap House and Grill for delivery directly to your doorstep. Just visit Smitty'sTapHouse.com, click the Order Online button, and choose Pickup or Delivery. Enjoy Smitty's famous handmade pretzel with beer cheese, juicy pub burger, or even the amazing schnitzel sandwich, delivered fresh right to your doorstep. Support local and order online today for takeout or delivery at Smitty'sTapHouse.com, where everybody knows his name.
Searching for the best place to host an event for your friends and family? The Golf Club at Summerbrook is more than just a place for a round of golf. It's also one of the best choices for hosting and celebrating the most special days in your life. From rehearsal dinners and baby showers to corporate banquets and kids' birthday parties, you'll receive amazing personal service and attention to every detail when you choose the Golf Club at Summerbrook. Find out how affordable it can be and call us today at 850-894-GOLF. That's 850-894-GOLF.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50. For those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Pretty cool. We get to do the red zone here in just a moment. And as always, I remind you to go to noretirement.com. In fact, our friends at Artisan Financial Strategies make that fun. And we didn't get to do it last week, I don't think, Tom. So we gotta be, or did we do it? Did we make up? Did we do the right thing? I can't remember.
We owe them 2 after practice started. We knew we were going to do 2 next week because camp will be in full force.
Noretirement.com. We will make it happen. You know, by the way, if you go to Artisan Financial Strategies website, if you go to Artisan online, you can see my man Adam looking smooth in a sweet suit, just dropping wisdom, saving people money, making sure their retirement plan's in place. It's pretty damn cool. I like it. Noretirement.com. If you could cue it up, Tom, let's make it happen. Let's hear it.
Welcome to the majesty.
Every freaking rep.
The elegance.
To win the game. Oh, he hits the upright. It's no good.
You have entered.
Someone burned down the funeral home. You burnt the funeral home.
Lives will be changed.
Sideline. Touchdown. Unbelievable.
Mothers will cry.
When you see your players give all that they have and you lose that way, it's tough.
Legacies are etched into eternity.
I know who I am.
North, South Dakota was his brother from West Virginia.
This is the Red Zone.
That's good to know.
Make sure you go see my man, Adam Tolliver, fellow Knoll, and make sure you have that thoughtful planning in place for you and your family. He and his team at Artisan Financial Strategies there to prepare you and make sure that everything is taken care of. You know, this is not something you want to fool around with. We talk about having enough money so that you can retire. You want to protect your family from rising healthcare costs, maybe plan your legacy. Artisan team brings over 30 years of planning experience. Heard back from a lot of you who have inquired about it. I'm glad that you have. I'm glad Knowles helping Knowles, guys. KnowleRetirement.com. That's one word, KnowleRetirement.com. Go check it out today. I can't speak highly enough about Adam and his team. They do great work, and they're great people. All right, let's get to the questions, Tom. The first down, second down, whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah, we're going whole kit and caboodle today. First down will be the freshman, true freshman. Doesn't have to be a summer enrollee newcomer, but just a true freshman that has stood out to you so far is whom?
Lewayne McCoy has been this way going back to spring. I think he continues to be the guy that I would look to the most. There are a lot of candidates. Isn't that refreshing? Isn't that nice to be able to say? By the way, old Ricky Knight looks good. There's some guys out there.
That's interesting because Ricky was brought up early in the morning breakout on Monday in Charlotte. It's been a long week, but that was still this same week. And Ricky Knight and Elijah Moore and Lewayne McCoy's name came up from Mike Norvell. I don't believe he was asked about freshmen. He just brought them up. That's
those three other, yeah. That makes a lot of sense too. Ricky will flash. You'll be watching. You're like, who was that? What number was that? Oh, that's that Ricky Knight. Yeah, that happens with him. But McCoy, most consistently, I believe he will be asked to make plays for this team and play a significant role on this team. Now, you got to be careful, and you always have these caveats. I'm not telling you the guy goes out and has 55 receptions for, but I think you're going to see him in games, and I think he'll be in meaningful games.
Okay. Second down, that's going to be tough to top first down. That's a hell of a play you drew up there on first down.
Yeah, I'm ready to win. We're trying to win first down this year, Tom. A lot of first down losses last year. I was tired of that nonsense. You got a lot of texts from me on 2nd and 9, 2nd and 11, 2nd and 10, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Look at it again. It would just be again, period. Again, period.
Listen, I challenge you guys. You can go look this number up. This is not just me. This is not a misperception. Go back and look. We sucked on first down. It really was frustrating. We put ourselves in tough positions. Good thing we had some talent and good coaching and players who were able to overcome it. But, man, one of the reasons why you become so predictable when you can't run, and so the next thing you know, everybody knows you're going to throw on first down because you're just not efficient trying to run the ball. And so teams don't have to defend you with any degree of honesty. And it's nonsense. I almost said something else.
You almost did. I can tell when it's coming. There's a sound you make when you're gearing up to say something, but thankfully when you're on radio, it stops.
So I was pretty pissed.
Second down would be the thing you enjoyed watching most through three practices. It could be a drill, a period, whatever. Something that made you smile.
A lot of things made me smile this week. I've had a cause and a pause to think a little bit about this. There are some wonderful people at Florida State that have been out there for years. I had a great conversation today, Tom, with Gene Deckeroff. And Gene came over to me, and we were smiling ear to ear, shaking hands. He was talking to me about getting ready to go and cover the Bucks against the Bengals. And we were just having a wonderful conversation. And so maybe this is more macro than you were looking for, but this has been a good week. I've parked, gotten out. The familiar sights, sounds, and smells hit me a little different. I think part of it is nostalgia. Part of it is me realizing that this is probably the first chapter in my last act, right? So it's like I go out there knowing that this is something to appreciate. And it's really cool to see those people and say hello and have fun again covering the game, especially with people that have been really kind over the years. So that I've had a lot of smiles this week, getting back to covering practice and having some fun with that. But on the field, watching this coaching staff, watching Ernie get a chance to coach, and to see the joy in his heart. He loves football. And we know what a nice guy Ernie is. I love talking with Ernie and just seeing him smile and really get an opportunity to get in there and work. That's been awesome. But Mike is a joy too. I think Mike cares deeply for this team, for these kids, for this program. I don't think it's superficial. I think it's real. And so watching his passion on display, play to play, week to week, day to day is an awful lot of fun too. I don't want to be too cheesy, but it's been a really good week. I can't believe we're through 3 practices already just like that.
Is it the heat Last act? You good? We good?
Oh, I'm good. I'm not preparing for my funeral. I'm a realist, man. I'm in my 50s. I don't know how long I'm going to do this and how many more years, plural, that these first weeks of practices are going to be applicable. So I'm taking time to think about it. Yeah.
All right. As long as you're okay, making sure you're.
I'm all good, buddy. All good.
I've heard that before. Okay.
Third down.
I'm thrown. I'm third down. I got to comport myself. I'm facing adversity here. One area in which your mind has been put at ease, a little bit more at ease watching it this week.
That's a good question.
I rebounded nicely.
An area where my mind's been put at ease this week. Probably, I don't know that it needed any soothing or easing, but I really love this secondary. I think they're going to be really good. And so it gives me comfort to watch them. They've got a lot of good players. They just have, that's a really generic sort of surface level observation, but they're just, they've done a good job in recruiting. They got, Tom, everybody seems so long. When you play for years. So for years, when teams came into the TLC Double C to play Florida State in basketball, you could tell early, even the teams that were better than Florida State, and even the teams who were going to be able to overcome it, the first 10 minutes of the games back when they were the junkyard dog defense, you could see opposing coaches and players like, damn, this is going to be a long day at the office. These sons of bitches are long. I can't get a good look. I can't get a good look at the rim. There's a hand in my face always. I try to get to the rim. Shot gets blocked. Everything's challenged. So I feel like that's our secondary. Everybody is so damn athletic and long. And I think they're going to give people fits.
A quick follow-up on that. Azarie was one of the guys I liked immediately when we saw the workouts versus McCall. Again, they were in the same group, and I thought, man, this Thomas kid, I think is.
Well, Azarie was awesome today again.
And then the next guy I liked in the next wave was Quindarius Jones, and his name seems to be coming up more and more.
He's huge. He should not be this good at that size. He's huge. But Tom, I'm telling you, between Fintrell and AZ and then all these other guys, I can give you 4 or 5. I just keep thinking they've just in waves. Think about this. For the expectation that we have for Azarie Thomas this year, right? For that, we know what that expectation is, right? We think he has the potential to be all conference and be a first-round pick. I think he could be that good. He's got all the attributes, the length, the speed. He can jump. He can do it all. He's got to have a great year. But he's got a chance to be great. I think Mike believes that. If for some reason he was unable to play, misses a game, I don't know, some minor injury. I don't want to wish anything upon anybody.
Targeting call that's ridiculous.
Yeah, something stupid, right? That keeps him out of a game. They have so many options over there for the next guy. I'd be like, no, they'll be all right. They'll be all right. I don't know that they're going to be able to replicate what AZ gives them, but they've got a dude. They've got somebody that's going to fill in, and I feel pretty good about that person. That's how good they are, that you could lose a talent like that for a game or two, and you'd be all right.
Okay. 4th down. They got a day off tomorrow. They go back to practice Sunday and I think 3 days in a row again. Next time you go to practice, you want to see what be better?
I want to see, I do think that this is going to be the same answer every week, because I think they're in it's a strange predicament. I don't know how consistently good the receivers can be against this defense. And so because we're already concerned that there's not going to be enough guys stepping up at that position to make up for all of the receptions lost in the form of Johnny Wilson and Keon Coleman. All right, so that's a lot of loss. You lost 2 significantly impactful, difference-making wide receivers, right? You think you've got candidates. You think you've got people that can fill in and collectively maybe make up for that loss of those 2 guys. Perhaps. We don't know for sure. And I don't think that there are going to be too many days in a row with the talent of this secondary that I just alluded to. I don't think there are going to be too many days in a row where that offense just shines. I don't. I think that it's all working against them. A, the defense knows the plays because they see each other every damn day. And then B, you have veteran players at corner and a veteran safety in Shaheem Brown, who's played well in this camp already. I just think it's going to be hard for them to have any kind of consistency built in where by week 3 we're like, oh, they're humming now. I don't think we'll ever see them hum until they face somebody who is not Fintrell Cypress, Azariah Thomas, Shaheem Brown, right? I mean, I think it's going to be hard to do.
I would agree. The one thing I would say, and we've seen this before, the both of us, is that there are days in 11-on-11 where if Mike wants to send a message, he will. He'll break something out that's a tendency breaker that they have not seen, and he'll give the offense an opportunity to break off a couple of drives in a row and smack the defense in the face because they're assuming something's coming, and it doesn't. So like Mike goes almost into game mode. He's like, well, okay, you think you know in this formation that we're going to do this, but watch what I do to you. And I think there will be a couple of days like that in the coming weeks where we will be able to report about that, because at that point you're scheming somebody open, but that's what Mike Norvell's job is anyway. That's the point of the gig. I would bet you that would happen. My last question on this would be any concern that we are overvaluing what the defensive back room is because the wide receiver room actually isn't very good at all. There are years in camps. It's hard to know, but like there's been a camp or two in the last 10 years where the secondary looked like the most dominant thing on the team. And then we were one of the worst pass defenses in the ACC.
Yeah, but we've changed and upgraded the talent around here. I mean, we know that definitively. They went 13-0 last year. If you suck, you don't. You know, guys are still running free if you're not any good. So we know that the talent's much better. I think definitively we know that. No, that's not the fear. I don't. They haven't had guys have to be, the guy. The receivers that are out there that are going to be asked to be the guy, nary one of them has had to be the guy. Not one. So we won't know. We won't know. Can they? Do they have ability? Are they athletic? Can they run? We got guys that can run for days. We got guys that, Portier is a big receiver. Hakeem is a big receiver. Darion Williamson's a big receiver. We'll see if he's healthy and can be productive. They've got little guys that can fly and everything in between. But none of them have had to be the man counted upon game in and game out to give me 4, 5, 6 receptions at 80 yards, 90 yards, 100 yards, whatever it might be. Come up with the big third down catch. You're my guy right here, right now. They haven't had to be that person, so we're not going to know. But that doesn't mean that they're devoid of talent, because I don't think that's the issue at all. They just haven't had to be the guy just yet. NoleRetirement.com. Make sure you go see my friends there. Artisan Financial Strategies, best in the biz. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. I know there were Cubans there.
Oh, the sandwich. Yeah, no, there probably wasn't many there in Vegas.
No Cubans.
No, not yet.
Florno's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
You guys should be happy that I forgot to give you my golf picks this week. They're sucking. It's been nonsense, and I'm still angry about it. All three are falling on their face in my other pool. We'll see about, let me check this raw here on the air. Let's see where we're at here, whether I got any winners this week at the 3M. You know, the 3M Open is ass anyhow, but it's every year I've done well there. Had a good profile, felt pretty good about what we were going to get, and each time the last 2 days, nothing. Well, Bati is playing okay. Hoagie's barely going to make the cut, maybe. Sorry-ass Adam Hadwin screwed me. Eckroat, garbage, sitting there at even par. Jake Knapp's coming around, -3. We'll see. No, not a stirring addition of picks from Jeff this week in the golf picks. So you didn't miss anything, boys and girls. You didn't miss anything. Just thought I'd give you an update. It's a toughie. I will say, however, I did win for the second year in a row the pool that I'm in with Tom.
That is correct. You did. Yeah. And you've been in the top 5 most every year. I
didn't remember that. That's not, you know what it does, Tom? It's a little bit like Shoffley. Now all those runner-up finishes just look all the more impressive that I've won back-to-back. People are like, well, this guy, he's a machine.
Yeah, that is correct. I myself did backdoor a top 5, though that doesn't get you anything for the season. But I am a two-time champion, just as you are. And I feel like I'm one of those good two-time champions. Like there are some 2 major champions that you're saying.
Like fell into it. It was a shaky gift from the gods. Yeah.
Man, oh man. I guess you were good for like a year, but you don't feel like, with due respect to Andy North, he's a 2-time major champion. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the same kind of 2-time major champion as Xander.
Many others.
Yeah, I don't think it's the same kind of 2-time champion as even Marco Mira. Marco Mira is a 2-time champion. Masters and British, impressive.
It's very impressive because of those two. The Masters, you don't get as much credit for winning the British as any of the others. That Open Championship is kind of willy-nilly.
Is that your personal record book? The Open is, for me, that's the PGA Championship. The PGA's down.
Oh, well, I get it. It's certainly not the Masters of the U.S. Open, but the Open Championships.
I'll revise that. It depends. There are some times where the PGA wants to be a U.S. Open, and in those circumstances,
you'll give them credit.
That's a real effing major. Then there's the one where Jason Day shoots 23 under. Like, I don't know. Whistling Straits is a beautiful course, but I mean, if we're shooting in the 20s, okay.
Well, all I'm telling you is, well, that was a proper Open Championship win for Shoffley, and he hit all the shots he had to, and he had a great day on a Sunday, and I give him all the credit in the world. It's just that so many in that field get screwed by what time they go out. Like, if they get the wrong end of the draw, then they're screwed. If you're morning night or morning late afternoon that year, and the wind comes whipping in off the Irish Sea, and you wear an ass kicking, it's like that year Tiger shot 65, 67, 80, 64. Okay, that's what we're doing. Everybody knows he would have beat all their asses by 15 strokes had they not had a hurricane on the Saturday at the time that he went out.
That's fair, or maybe he caught a really good draw 3 days. Like maybe the draw was too good those other 3 days.
Maybe.
And he could have had 2 medium bad draws on Thursday and Saturday, shot a pair of 74s, and he still doesn't win. Such is life.
Hey, there were some guys who that's a tough draw. You got to be good and a little lucky, a little too lucky for those Open Championships. That bothers me a little bit to this day. I still get a little like, okay. Well, here. Oh, I just woke up. I'm turning on. They have lovely conditions. Look at this first wave of guys. They're all 6 under. I go make a sandwich, leave for an hour, come back. Gale force winds. You can't see 5 feet in front of you. It's now 17 degrees. Rain whipping in off the wall. Come on.
Okay, so I can tell you, I've experienced that a little bit more up here, how rubbish that particular thing is because of the northerly winds that we have off of the Atlantic. And having played last week twice, first time in a long time I played 2 18-hole rounds back to back. And the first day, weather calm, back 9 last few holes starts to come up a little bit. The next day we play a championship level Jack Nicklaus design course, spent more on it than I care to admit, fescue everywhere, and the back 9 of that, sustained winds 22 miles an hour, upwards of 35 gusts. You got no prayer. You've got no chance.
Yeah, you might as well, like, what are we doing out here? What's the point? Why am I even here?
The
what
back
am I doing?
9 played, I think, 3,400 yards. We're not playing the tips. I'm not going crazy here. And I think it probably felt like the effective distance was 4,250. It was
frustrating, isn't it? It's tough to put up with that nonsense. I get mad too. Very, very mad.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
Guardians, Phillies, Lively versus Sanchez, Twins, Tigers, Pablo Lopez, Kader Montero. We got the Reds and the Rays, Nick Lodolo, Shane Baz, Padres, Orioles, Adam Mazur, Grayson Rodriguez, Rangers, Blue Jays, Andrew Haney, Braves, Mets, Charlie Morton. Hey, sing a time, Tom.
Senga-san.
You got to be happy about that. Yankees, Red Sox, Nestor Cortez. Go ahead.
Nestor.
Brian Bello. Marlins, Brewers, Trevor Rogers, Freddie Peralta. Cubs, Royals, Kyle Hendricks, Brady Singer. Oh, look, now that Royals team's kind of fun, man. What do you think the Royals record is, Tom?
They're around 12 games over, something like that.
56-47. You're close.
Well, yeah, I saw them. They've hit a little skid recently, but I saw them at Fenway a couple of weeks ago, and it's an impressive team.
They got a little squad. Dodgers, Astros, Gavin Stone, Framber Valdez. Mariners, White Sox, George Kirby, Drew Thorpe. You saw where the Mariners just made a trade with the Rays to get a Rosarena.
Mm-hmm. And apparently, go ahead.
No, they got to do something. They don't have bats. They got to get some more bats. They're like the Pirates.
I was going to say, apparently the price, according to the insiders, wasn't even that crazy. Like it was penal, but it wasn't. You're trading with the Rays, and so you must give them everything kind of level.
Fast forward 3 years, we're going to look back and go, boy, the Rays screwed the Mariners. It's always that way. Nationals, Cards, Mackenzie Gore, Sonny Gray, A's, Angels, Paul Blackburn, and Carson Fulmer. Tonight, my Buccos are at the D-backs. D-backs have turned it around. They're now 53-50. The Pirates are 52-50. They're without Brian Reynolds tonight. I know all of you are concerned, but Luis L. Ortiz is getting the start for the Buccos. And, oh, by the way, his last 3 starts, he's a converted reliever, have been nothing short of awesome. He's 5-2 with a 2.57, throws 98, and suddenly believes in himself. Good to see. Rockies, Giants, Kyle Freeland, Kyle Harrison, and that is a look at those that shall reside on the bump. Here we go. It's on, Tom. Your Mets, stomping of the Yankees last night. It's great to see.
Well, 2 nights ago. No, last night we beat the Braves last night. Laureano overran a ball in right field in the 10th inning. Did you not see that clip? Oh,
I didn't.
It's a lazy fly. Now he's got to go a long way. It's near the right field line. And this is a very Mets way to end a game. Like, I was Leo looking at the television going, I recognize that. That's what we do. And he ran along. Laureano has excellent range, but he has too good a range because he went about 3 steps too far and the ball dropped behind him with 2 outs in the 10th. Winning run comes across the plate. Thank you very much.
That is a tough one.
Glove didn't touch it, so therefore the run is earned and it counts, all that stuff. Ouch.
Pirates are 2 games over 500. They've got some injury concerns right now. Also, Reynolds is on that bereavement list, so I don't know who died, but I know that he won't be there for a little while. I hope it was like a distant cousin that he barely knew. He just feels like he needs to be at the funeral. If it's his dad, I mean, who knows? We may not get Brian Reynolds back forever. Come on. Have it be an insignificant family member. I kid, everybody. I don't know. We'll see. But now I'm officially nervous. We're over 100 games into the season. Pirates are right there with your Mets. Could we come down to the final week of the season? Could it be?
I'm telling you, it might come down where we're both making it. To use the Olympics analogy, we're both on the medal stand. Yeah. I think we could make it because if we win tonight, we actually passed the Braves for wild card 1. That's unbelievable. They've been falling. I make fun of them all the time, but truly, when you get past
the injury list that they've had is crazy.
You get past their number 4 hitter, it's all 189, 211, 160. I mean, they're just that's not cool. Happens to us all the time too. Happens to you all the time. Baseball happens.
Have a great weekend, Tom. And we'll be back at it. We got a Sunday practice and back at it Monday as well. So JCS will return to all of you. Thanks so much for listening to the program. It's always been a fun week to have football return. That's it. We're in the good time. We're in the salad days, as they say now, kids. We're going to be all right. I will talk to you on Monday. Be safe. Be good. Peace.